involved in our schools with a big focus on pathways and so forth. We're real fortunate, I'll be introducing him in a while, that we have a county superintendent that is absolutely laser beamed on, first and foremost, giving every kid an opportunity to succeed, and I mean every child. And one of the ways to do that is through this method. We got just stellar superintendents that are going to be talking about their soup tank ideas and so forth. So we're honored to have you here. It is my pleasure to introduce the chair of the Classroom of the Future Foundation Board, and that is Kelly Owens. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Drew. It is so great to see everyone here, and I just wanted to say a few words of really gratitude, because as you know, events like this, they're amazing, but they don't just happen. So first and foremost, I'd like to begin by thanking Jane Schlossberg. She's the CFF Director of Development and Operations, for her work to plan this summit. So Jane, I'm sure you're right there. Thank you so much. And also thank you to the San Diego County Office of Education and College and Career Readiness team in particular, as well as our amazing volunteers. You saw them at check-in and moving around. They've given up and volunteered their time to support this event. So can we give them a round of applause as well? I would also like to thank our generous sponsors of the summit, who have made this possible, and just I met many of you out in the atrium, but could you just stand for a moment if you're a sponsor of this event? We'd really like to give you some special recognition. Thank you. Thank you. So as Drew mentioned, our mission is to really, in a nutshell, our vision really is to make sure every student is prepared to pursue their dreams, their individual dreams, their individual greatness. And the way we do it at CFF is to unite, just as we've done in this room, business, community, educational leaders to create innovative learning opportunities in San Diego County Public Schools. And that's going to prepare them and really show them a way forward for their dreams. And it just reminded me of something last week I wanted to share with you. We had the opportunity during spring break to go down to a little town called Sayulita. I don't know if we have any surfers in the room, but it's a little town in Mexico. And it was with a group of 11 kids, so clearly I need a spring break from my spring break. But we had a bunch of first graders and fourth graders that were down on the beach, but we said, okay, one day we piled them all into a van and we drove to one of the family members' aunt's schools. She runs a school down there called Colegio Patricia, and for about 300 kids in this little town outside of Guadalajara, she changes their lives every single day. And it was so interesting after everyone took the tour and sat down, and we started talking with this wonderful woman that runs the school, and without kind of telling her what we're involved with at CFF and what we do up here, she said such similar things of all we're trying to do down here is to show kids the way. We are trying to create an opportunity and show them that there is something else out there. And it just reminded me in advance of this event why we do what we do. And obviously there's different challenges in different places, but I think we're all here in this room for that exact reason, is each kid has greatness inside of them, a very individual greatness. And it just takes these programs and the people in this room to show them the way, to show them there is something else out there, whether it's the medical field or whether it's the sciences or solar or anything like that. That's what this is all about. And I just can't thank everybody enough for being here. And lastly, I'd just like to thank our longtime College and Career Pathway Summit host, Nashville University, and would like to bring up to the podium a colleague of mine, a wonderful, wonderful person, Dr. Nancy Rowland Heinrich, to share some more remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, and it was an honor to serve as the chair of Classroom of the Future Foundation, and Kelly took over, and she is certainly talented and capable and committed to this cause. National University has always been very pleased to host this event because we do feel that education and career pathways are so important, and that kids and schools and teachers need to be, informing students at a very young age. National University is pleased. You saw in our logo, we have just celebrated our 50th anniversary. And I am proud to say that I have been at Nashville University for 42 of those years. So I was in preschool when I started. But when I started, there were 1,000 students and 1,000 alumni, and today we have nearly 30,000 students per year and 188,000 alumni. So any National University alumni in the crowd with all these K-12 folks. Any graduates, teachers? All right, quite a few. Thank you. Glad to have you here today. But at this time, I would like to turn the mic over to our Chancellor, Dr. Michael Cunningham, and he wanted to share a few words with you. But welcome to all.
Thank you, Nancy. First of all, let's give Nancy a round of applause. She is a mentor. She's amazing. She truly is in and of the city of San Diego and the county of San Diego. Thank you very much, Nancy. Well, welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out today to National University. So great to see all your faces and everyone being here. National takes pride in sponsoring this event in that, if you think about it, over 10% of the teachers each year that get certified go through National University in California. So that's a pretty impressive role. So we have a big role to play in the education. And you all have a big role to play. And what you're doing with the Classroom of the Future is planting a great seed. And think about this. So I have 2 grandchildren. One was just born 3 months ago. Statistics show that grandchild, God willing, will live to over 100 years old and will have over 20 jobs in his lifetime. And many of those jobs that he will have don't even exist yet. So how do we prepare students for jobs that don't even exist, not only in high school, K through 12, post-secondary, but for the rest of their life? So they're upskilling and training for the rest of their life. And they have great jobs, and they contribute to society in meaningful ways. What you're doing here is planting that seed and creating that format that will go on forever in their lifetime. So this is really cool stuff. And just think, since you started, what was a classroom? Classroom of the Future was still a classroom, right? It was still a classroom when you started. Right now, it's kind of more than a classroom. It's in society. It's in people's homes. It's all over the world. So pretty exciting stuff. So I'm just grateful to be part of this. And I have a special gift for you guys. We have Dr. Michelle Weiss, who is probably one of the seminal thinkers when it comes to the future and the nexus of workplace and education. Okay? And she just wrote a great book, Lifelong Learning, Preparing for Jobs That Don't Even Exist Yet. And if you just give Dr. Nancy Rowland Heinrich your card or email her, we'll send you a free copy of this book. It's an amazing book that actually deals with exactly what you're dealing with today, and how do we train folks for jobs that don't exist. So thank you. Paul, thank you for coming and all the great work you do in the county. Thank you, Drew, for always being here. Nancy, of course, and Kelly, thank you for your great work. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Cunningham, and please, Long Life Learning, it's an excellent book, and just reach out to me and Michelle Weiss if you ever have an opportunity to hear her speak. She's just amazing. So again, welcome to everyone. Have a fabulous day.
Another round of applause for Nashville University, Nancy Rowland Heinrich, and Dr. Michael Cunningham. Now, my pleasure to introduce a friend. He's been a good friend since he got here in San Diego County. That's Dr. Paul Gothel, the Superintendent of Schools for San Diego County Office of Education. Anyone who's worked with Paul knows how much he has transformed the County Office of Education. There's a hip to people's hop and step and all that business, and he hates when I say this stuff. That's why I say it, because he doesn't want any of the attention on himself. But he's done great things, and to continue to do great things. He's got some wonderful comments to make. And Paul, if you can come up here, I got a present for you that Jane had given me to give you. Okay, as all you know, that Paul is a big, big UCLA fan. Is he an SC fan? Whoops. So let me show this to you, Kelly, as well. We have a nice little beat SC in UCLA colors. I grew up in a UCLA family. And all fun, yeah, right, exactly. Jane's off the list now. In all seriousness, Paul has just done some wonderful things. We're thrilled to have him as a colleague with the Classroom of the Future Foundation, and I know you are too. So let's give it up for Dr. Paul Gothel.
Thank you, Drew. You can keep the pin. I want to extend on our partnership with Nashville University just for a moment. You know, many of you have seen the priorities that come out of our office, particularly our future educator pipeline and disproportionate number of people of color in the profession. And through a partnership with the Chancellor, the community colleges, and Nashville University has set aside 200 spots for kids in our underserved communities that if they want to become educators, and our office is helping coordinate this, they will go through their entire college education with zero debt, including their teaching credential. Just give us 3 years in the community where you reside. So not only are we addressing the issue of the supply, demand for skilled labor that all of us are experiencing in our schools, but the intentionality around making sure that we lift up our historically marginalized communities. So you need to be applauded for that. So thank you. Imagine, zero college debt and right into the workforce. I want to thank Drew and Randy, CFF, our chair, Kelly, for all of your support, and as mentioned before, you know, the opportunity to come together to do what's best for our children. And as we've heard before, when we talk about a choice-filled life, our schools need to be relevant. Our kids need to know what it is that's going to take to prepare them for the next stage after they leave our stage. And so we don't define college and career as one or the other. We use it synonymously. It is critically important that we get past this issue of believing that some kids will and some kids won't when it comes to college. And then if you, based on adults' perceptions of what they can or can't do, then go to career tech ed. That's not how we define this. Our expectation that it is a child that will be eligible to apply to a four-year institution, but at the same time have a robust and relevant career tech ed experience, an industry experience while they're in school. And sometimes those courses that are offered don't line up that way. And kids leave our programs without even realizing they're not eligible to apply to things that they may or may not want to do. So we say this synonymously because we know that we have to pay attention to the demand for skilled labor. And by the way, for some of the sectors, and Peter Kallstrom, the Workforce Partnership, they've done an extraordinary job of not only identifying where the demand for skilled labor is now, but also projecting out into the future. And these are programs, by the way, or industry sectors that are no different than 10, 15 years ago. Having had the opportunity to build a school from the ground up that focused on 5 sectors, doesn't look a lot different than what we're still talking about today. But within that school, every child completed the A through G requirements. It wasn't an option to go anywhere else. And when we built the program, it was so closely articulated with colleges and universities across the country that every student graduated completing their freshman year in college. Their senior year mirrored freshman requirements in college. And the thing that we do know is that every child can learn anything. We control the conditions. But we've got to get out of this mindset that some kids are going to go to college and some kids are going to go directly into the workforce. We know that's the truth, but let it be the child's choice and not the system. And right now the system continues to dictate some of those paths. And we say that because, you know, National brought in Raj Chetty, and we use his research quite a bit. You've all heard about the income disparity. It continues to grow. And every researcher, educator, behavioral economist, it doesn't matter. They see the solution residing in that intersection of education and innovation. So we have a unique opportunity. And I will tell you, in our office, our goal for the next 5 years is incredibly audacious and bold, and people think we're crazy. But it's to lower the number of children who qualify for free and reduced lunch from 50% to 35%. Now, you may agree that we're crazy. But in this context of school being relevant, in this context of looking not just at our kids holistically, but our families, and as stated before by Kelly, we're conveners. Are we maximizing all of our relationships with government, business, industry to stitch together the needs of our schools and community? And one of the things that we also know is that even in our historically marginalized communities, we cannot take this approach of school leadership that we are in charge, the experts in everything, and expect others to conform to that. I would challenge us to look at our communities and define and look and elevate the assets and the beauty of our underserved communities and build upon that and co-construct those opportunities that extend outside the school. Whatever that may look like, but that happens through strong partnership, where there's trust, there's relationship, and I'll share this with you. And I'm not one of those people that likes to labor in the negative, but some of the data that we're using to define what we do is through the Healthy Kids Survey. And if that's not part of the data that we're looking at, I think we're missing a unique opportunity. You see, in this county, countywide, the year right before COVID hit, there's questions about kids feeling a sense of belonging with the school, their connection to adults. And I will tell you that for this county, this wonderful, great, beautiful county, for our 11th graders, countywide, 62% said they had a sense of belonging at their school. How much are we listening to our children? And one of the things that we do know about career tech ed is there's a connection for many of our kids as well. Not every kid is an athlete. Not every kid is somebody that if we have something that builds that bridge that's relevant to the real world application, to the relevancy. Why do I have to learn this? Powerful programs when done right. And here's the other kicker. Just because we're aligned with the demand for skilled labor doesn't mean the child's going to stay in that forever. But if we're not exposing them, we're missing an opportunity. But those soft skills, regardless of the industry, changes, everything else, can be transferred anywhere. And that's what business has been complaining about for so long. So I challenge us to look at this different. We've given ourselves full permission to make new mistakes. Honestly, if we have that lens for our most marginalized communities and we're intentional about making sure that our black, brown, indigenous populations get what they need and deserve, because if our black kids are successful, everyone is. Period. So, as we look through today's activities, you have some wonderful speakers. If we continue to do the same thing, we're going to get the same results. Until we have 100% of our kids walking that stage with options of their choice, 100% of our kids feeling a sense of belonging and connected to school, now we're on to something. Even if we stop this separation of haves and have-nots and don't get to 35%, we will have won, because we will have helped thousands of families. So I can't stress the importance of this work. I also want to acknowledge that, job satisfaction for educators hasn't exactly been at an all-time high the past few years. And you're doing God's work, and it's extraordinary, the dedication. I get inspired every day with everything that you do in support of our kids and families. And tweaking our work and elevating it to a new level is really what we want to do. We want to see every community thrive. We want to see every child thrive in our system. And you are all capable of making that happen. And we'll do it side by side with you. So thank you so much. Have a great day.
Too bad Paul's not passionate about this. You know, I think what's is so cool about it, and it's so true, heaven forbid we actually row in the same direction, 365, 24/7, and that's why you folks are here. Again, it's just wonderful to see so many familiar faces over here. I see the Council on Literacy is represented well. We got Brahm over here. How you doing? Good to see you, Curriculum Associates. You know, Prem from SDG&E, and you know, Dennis, my longtime friend from Avid, and just on and on and on. And it's great to see you folks, you know, come back to this. This is one of the coolest cats I work with. He tried to put up a picture of himself that he must have been. What, were you a teenager when you first had that picture up there?
When you were my third grade teacher.
Well, a third grade teacher, very good. Come on up, you know, Al Love. Al Love is the Senior Director of College and Career Readiness Innovation Division. Many of you folks have worked with Al. There's not a person on the face of this planet and solar system that doesn't say great things about Al Love for so many different reasons. He's humble, he's smart, he's innovative, but most importantly, he is collaborative. And if you do any work with Al, you know you're going to succeed. It is my pleasure to introduce my friend, my colleague, the incomparable Al Love.
Before we give Al the mic, I just wanted to let everybody know we're going to have a Q&A session after here. And you can use the QR code right now if you want to hold your cameras up. And we created a Google form where you can submit a question, and we'll be looking at those questions and then bringing them together, and then we can ask them to Al after his presentation.
All right, thank you. There you go. Which way? This way. Perfect. There you go. Good morning. Let me get off of that. Okay. Can you hear me? Or is this mic loud enough? All right. Well, glad to be here. Thanks to Nashville University. Really appreciate this being the 5th year of hosting our CFF. Been a great host, and every year it just gets better. I also want to reach out and thank Canyon Hills High School for being video production and taking care of us through the live stream. So I really wanted to thank them. There's a lot of folks I should thank, but after Paul speaks, it's kind of like listening to a TED Talk, and you never want to follow him, right? Because it's about to get clunky right now. So. I represent the College and Career Readiness Division, and we focus on really trying to bring high-quality college and career readiness programs throughout the San Diego County. 43 districts, numerous high school, middle school, and elementary campuses. And so our work is really focused on trying to support and move the needle from wherever you happen to be to that next tier that will point you to providing the best experience for students on your campus. So I'd like to have my team stand up. I never do this to them, so I see Jewel, I see Ernesto, Alex, looking around, I see Sonia, Michael. So the College and Career Readiness team, we deploy, we have a go bag. We come to you to help you determine where you're at and what your next moves need to be in order for your students to have the most powerful experience in your school site, at your school site. So I was actually assigned to come up here to talk about our new facility. So I've kind of bird walked off with that. I told you it's going to get clunky. But this new facility is about a mile down from our main office. It's a new building. It's called the Linovisia Innovation Center. And this project really launched in December of 2019. We acquired the building, and from that point, we started discussing with the community what really is needed for specifically in Linovisia and also throughout the region. So we know that USD is the preeminent university in the area, and Mesa College is right around the corner. And so the things that you should know about Linovisia, where we're located, it's ideal for what Dr. Gothel just shared, our mission. It's one of the top 6 most socially, economically challenged blocks in San Diego. And so how fitting that we are there. It is serendipitous that we would locate a building right when we started to emphasize our charge to really start to service the most underserved communities, the most marginalized, and the most underrepresented campuses when it comes down to student success. And so we focused on that. And in fact, when I came to the county office a couple of years ago, that was the first time I had ever had a superintendent tell me that your work is to change the experience for students that have historically not been engaged in the enterprise. So those populations are represented in our equity blueprint, and our team, we focus on making sure that we impact school sites in your districts that are in your most underserved communities. That's our biggest lift. And that's not our only lift, but it's our biggest lift. And so we, in acquiring this building, started to have conversations with community members, with district and school leaders, with students, with nonprofits. And we wanted to kind of get a sense of what is it that really people would like for this building to be a symbol of. And so in that, we came up with 6 themes. And they happen to fall right into the innovation and the college and career readiness wheelhouse. There were a lot of points that were shared, but we were able in the innovation division to identify the 6 areas that we could really focus on. And in the building, which I didn't describe the building to you, it's 3 floors, 35,000 square feet, has about 17 classrooms in there. The classrooms are connected by a barn door, so if you have the barn door open, you really have 8 to 9 classrooms. And so these 6 themes is where our work began. And tons of conversations with many of the folks that are here today, our nonprofit partners, our post-secondary partners, our regional partners. And in that, we decided that we should really create experiential labs. And in that space, I'm going to have one of our partners come up, played a key role in project managing the work group development. So Rob Atterbury, can you come on up, and we're going to kind of tag team this for a moment. It's key to have partners in this work. It's key to have platinum level partners who are time bound, that are specific, that have, as we talk about SMART goals, everything that we had to do was attainable. We had to work within a window of time, COVID, while everyone was working remote, we had to come together and put this plan into motion. And Rob was the right person to operationalize the project management side of the house. So I wanted to have Rob have an opportunity to share the work that we did.
I think you're just trying to get back at me. Al was a student of mine when I was teaching auto when I was about 5, I think. And now he's graduated up, and now he's getting back at me because he said, Rob, can you just step up and speak a little bit about this? I'm like, yeah, put me on the spot. But it was my pleasure. I work for Connected, which is the National Center for College and Career, and it was my pleasure to work and partner with the county office and many of you to really work through a set of work groups. And we came up with a vision, mission, goals, outcomes, the curriculum, the before the kids come to a lab, what's happening when they're at the lab, and what is that post-experience at the lab. And the ideas of these labs were really to be the cutting edge, I'll even say kind of the bloody edge, of technology and innovation so that we could stimulate ideas back in school districts, back in communities where they could actually test run these things and actually be able to come to the lab, see it, touch it, taste it, feel it, take it for the test drive, and then take it back and actually implement it. So equipment and materials, we're in the process of obtaining those now, and really looking at the staffing recommendations. How are we going to staff this thing? Because this is a unique program. This is a place where students will come and visit and then go back, and how do we support those teachers back at school in that post-curriculum aspect and the pre-curriculum aspect, as well as making sure that we have a quality experience at the lab. So we're looking for retired engineers, architects, and so on to come and work in these labs, volunteer teachers, retired teachers. So that in a nutshell is the work group and our objectives. And in the middle of COVID, we came up with some great plans for a set of labs that are really cutting edge and focused on the latest industries and priority industries in this community.
Thank you, Rob. And just to elaborate on that, when I look particularly at the third button, curriculum, we didn't want to have a field trip. We wanted to make sure that this was a lab experience for students that was built on, first, at their school site, being exposed to what they're about to come see. We all know as teachers, the educators in the room, the last thing you use is, why am I here? You know, what is this all about? So we wanted to make sure that we had curriculum that students would be exposed to, teachers would find the curriculum an easy lift, and then when they came to our lab, we'd get into active participation, labs on, hands-on. We're going to get right into it. And so when we think about what that looks like, in our advanced manufacturing lab, these renderings are an example of what an advanced manufacturing lab looks like. So if you're at a school site, and I've talked with Mountain Empire, we've talked with Valley Center, we've been in San Ysidro, we've been in Escondido, we've been in Vista, we've been in Oceanside, we've spent some time in San Diego Unified, we've been in Grossmont, we've been in Lemon Grove. And in every one of these spaces where we've taken our go bag to expose students to these innovation academies where we talk about coding, we talk about engineering. Alicia is here from our office. She teaches the design thinking and wrote the design thinking curriculum. Everywhere we went, our surveys have indicated they want more. And if wanting more is important because what we want to do now is professional development. We want to have it take place at your site. We'll come out, we will spec your rooms, we'll help you with the whole lift because there's no way that Linovisia Innovation Center can meet the needs of all students. So what we can do is inspire with visits, and we can provide professional development to your teachers and help do the spec out of your facilities so you can build experiential labs at your school site or in your district. Of the 6 labs, I just showed you the advanced manufacturing lab. We have a biotech and a health science lab where we'll deal with the biotech side of the house and the patient care side of the house. We have an information and communications technology lab where we deal with a lot of the coding. We're getting into the AI, the AR, the VR, and all of that content that your students need to, when we talk about talent shortage all over this space. And so how we address that, Dr. Gothel mentioned, we have to go down to the middle school level. And when you go to my session, we'll hear more details from our partners from the EDC about the labor market, the analysis of the labor market, the last 5 years where the most job growths were for high demand, high paid jobs, and where it looks that it's headed into the year 2028. Got to come to my session, Engaging Leadership in High Quality CTE. Middle school STEAM, as I mentioned, we have to get into the middle schools. And so we have a passion in my office of reaching out to middle school administrators and central office administrators to make sure we can get on that campus, demonstrate what CTE looks like, whether it's exploration level or whether it's really engaging in a full year course. We want to make sure that we are able to work with your instructors on navigating that road. So middle school STEAM is an emphasis point for us as well, especially in our underserved communities. And we have 2 other labs, Design Thinking Lab, the Internship Hub, where really we're working with students to be able to project development. And we're working with our partners in the workforce to be able to connect with students, dip their toe in and not feel too hesitant about offering job shadowing, mentorships, offering internships. And so our Internship Hub is a place where we're going to make those connections. If everything goes well, and I suspect it will, we anticipate that we can serve over 20,000 students by May of 2023, but it takes help. That's where we look at our industry partners, we look at our superintendents and other executive level leadership, we look at our nonprofits to work with us to create the most dynamic center over at 2202 Comstock Street. So the Linovisia Innovation Center is a project that's still underway. We're definitely doing Fundraising, we're definitely working on grants and achieving some level of philanthropic assistance. But if you're interested and want to know more, I actually have a brochure. There it is. Take one of the brochures. It offers you an opportunity to play a tangible role through sponsorship, through in-kind. We'd love to have it because everything that we do is to support the 43 school districts. None of it's for us individually, but it is for our community because the talent shortage, the trajectory that we're on is real. And when you come to my session, we'll talk about that. So with that said, I kind of shared what we currently have underway. Rob just showed you the brochure. And we're just going to continue kind of seeking opportunities to really just build out the Linovisia Innovation Center to be really a beacon for students and schools that are in our most underserved, underrepresented communities.
And now I guess I would just conclude and say, if you're a school district, we'd love to get your participation. If you're a business partner, we'd love to get your support in making sure that we get these labs right so we can give the students the best opportunity possible.
Absolutely. And so with that said, Drew, I'm going to go ahead and drop the mic and hand it back to you.
That sounds terrific. So, questions about our Linda Vista Innovation Center. Any questions that we want to ask Al?
We do have a couple that came in. So the first one is from Roland Bud Johnson. It's for Al Love. Why do you believe that middle school teachers are compelled to be CTE credentialed for an exploratory program?
I think it's just old habits. It's not required, and that's something that contacting our office, we can give you the details. If you are in a middle school district or if you're in a unified district and you're having those kind of questions, we can give you the details. And really, that's the role we play at the county office, is clearing all of the smoke that surrounds credentialing, because all of us that are educators, we understand that credentialing can sometimes be a winding road.
We have another question. So this is from Michael Brunker. It is, what did the students say on the survey? You talked about a survey earlier. What did the students say?
Positive results overwhelmingly. My last school I actually went up in Escondido was a Mission Middle School. And I walked in, it was a primarily class of young ladies, and they had indicated that at the beginning they wanted nothing to do with coding. And by the end, they wanted to start a coding club. So that's the kind of impact that we see when we take away the mystery. We call it the liberal arts version of computer science, right? So it's really digestible, it's hands-on, and students are fully engaged. And I remember when I worked in San Marcos with Nikki, everything was about active participation and the correct level of difficulty. And what we've done with our innovation labs is we've accomplished that. Correct level of difficulty, active engagement, and motivation being created by constantly having successful experiences. And so we believe that if we keep those three bullets on target, we're going to continue to have a lot of success.
One more question for you. Can you share a success story on going out to a historically marginalized area and going out to one of those schools? So you've had those go bags.
Well, I just mentioned Mission Middle School. I also would speak to, let's see, Logan Memorial is one of San Diego Unified's newest schools. I think they're opening up their ninth grade class, first ninth grade class next year. Is that correct? So we were at Logan Memorial. We did a design thinking and a coding and robotics camp, and we found that a number of teachers, a number of students wanted us to come back because we were trying to spread ourselves around. We didn't want to spend too much time in any particular one district because we run week-long camps. But we ended up having to come back to Logan Memorial because the students wrote a postcard, so we had to come back and do another one. So every campus that we went to, Lemon Grove, San Ysidro, Bayfront, I know they're here today. We were at Bayfront Charter. I mentioned Quantum Academy, Escondido, Rancho Minerva, powerful program at Rancho Minerva. And I'm forgetting the other ones off the top of my head, but we have been on the road trying to make sure that during that time when districts were not allowed to have field trips, we decided to come to them. And so that was what drove us to do the Go Bags. We envision that next year we will be able to schedule schools to come to the Linovisia Innovation Center, And at that time, that's where my number, the trajectory of 20,000 student context comes from. This idea of 30 students, 4 days a week, 5 labs over an entire school year. So if we achieve that goal, we will actually exceed 20,000 students.
And the last question is, what is your contact information so people can get a hold of you about Linda Vista Innovation Center?
If you come to my session, it'll be on the screen. It will be on the screen. And if not, we'll make sure we get it to you. Okay? Thank you for your time.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet over here. So, the center has just recently opened up for some really cool camps, and my colleague Charles Parisi. Charles, why don't you stand up and wave over here? That's not a stand-up, Charles. Charles, stand up so they can see you, all right? Did a great program with USD Jacobs Institute for Innovation with Al and his team with Impactful Teen Challenge. And so you might want to touch base with Charles on that. We encourage our business friends here to take a tour of Linda Vista Innovation Center. Al is happy to do tours any time of the day, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning. He pretty much works 24 hours a day. And in all seriousness, you would be blown away by this center. I know 2 of my longtime friends from Junior Achievement are here in the house. A lot of friends from Junior Achievement. I got Hannah and Pana, but we have our good friend Wendy Gillespie and Miss Martha Phillips, who are heavily involved in building out some of the cool stuff. And I know, Martha, you're interested in Linda Vista type stuff. And Wendy, you're just interested in doing cool things to everybody. And so I know we'll get you a tour as well. Any other questions for Al while we release him? And don't forget, he has a session. Tom Dillon.
Al, do you have anything, special programs to get the teachers more deeply involved with greater ownership of the program?
Professional development is part of what the total build-out that Rob and I, Jewel Clark and our team, Alex Becker, that was to the heart. The heart is to get more teachers involved. There's just, we don't have enough if it relies on what's happening at the Linda Vista Innovation Center. So the PD, and again, we've been coming to school districts during when the world was brought to its knees. Now we're hopeful that through virtual and through our opening of our building, that we'll be able to have more professional learning opportunities for teachers at our site. So the short answer to that question is yes.
And so, as Randy had mentioned before, you can go to that QR code and ask even more questions. We'll make sure they go to Al and his team as well on this. And the same with this next upcoming very cool, innovative session that, of course, came from the inimitable Dr. Tim Baird. Tim is a retired superintendent from Encinitas Union District. That's why he's got an ear-to-ear smile. And he's probably busier now in retirement than he was when he was superintendent, which is almost impossible. But again, if you can go to the QR code on any of these sessions, especially to the superintendents that will be coming up in a few minutes here. Tim is currently serves the director of the Educational Partnerships for Green Schools National Network. He is our 2022 Classroom of the Future Foundation Visionary Award. Let's give him a round of applause for that. And the folks that he's going to bring up, I'll give a nice introduction to them in a second, but Tim is going to explain the genesis of Soup Tank. It is all yours, Tim.
Thank you, Drew. So, first of all, those of you that think you're on a Zoom session, I just want to remind you, your screen is not off. We can see you. Get off your email, and you, sir, in the back, put some pants on, please. So, I love this. I'm going to get my steps in and do a presentation today. So, we are here today to talk to you about Soup Tank. I actually started with this concept that we have 42 school districts, almost 500,000 students in this county. We have millions of great new ideas out there in our school districts. So how do you get these ideas out there? How do you find people to work with our districts and our really creative and inventive superintendents? So I had a story concocted that we put together a design team, we worked in a lab. The reality is, one night I went out drinking with the Classrooms of the Future Foundation board, and I said, hey, here's an idea. And to quote the Chancellor, I found I had a job that I didn't know existed after Drew assigned me to put this together. So this idea of Soup Tank came together in a way that we started talking about how do we get superintendents, business people, educators together to hear these great ideas. So you are part of that design. Today we actually have a panel of superintendents that have volunteered. They were forced into it, but they volunteered to work with us. Is my mic on? That's okay. There we go. So we asked them to come today to sort of model this, get some feedback, and we've started putting together some design. So here's the genesis of the idea. How do we get the creativity of these superintendents and then bring it together with the fun of the TV show Shark Tank? So this was our first idea. Did not go well. We decided then to, got to stay close, came up with a better idea, but we didn't have any volunteers. So what we did come up with, you're going to see today. And again, this is sort of on the design table. We will get feedback from you, hopefully, that will say, hey, we like this part. Could you do this a little differently? And I'm so excited. I have not only 4 colleagues here, but 4 good friends that are here with us today. Also really creative, inventive, and fun superintendents. So let's enjoy. And I'm going to have Drew introduce our first colleague to come up and do Soup Tank.
Let's give a round of applause to Tim Baird as well. And what will happen is each of the superintendents are going to chat for about 5 minutes with their pitch, and then you'll have a couple of minutes yourself to go on that QR code that's in front of you. And if you have questions that can be answered relatively quickly, we'll get that superintendent to answer those questions, and then we'll save some time at the end. And the whole idea is to get engaged with this. Dr. Ben Churchill is an award-winning educator serving in his 6th year as the superintendent of the Carlsbad Unified School District. He was the recipient of the Innovative Superintendent of the Year Award from Classroom of the Future Foundation. This guy is known for his unbelievable energy. I know he doesn't sleep. He is a Chicago Cubs fan, is that correct? Very good, right? Billy Goat and all that business. And he's got some great things to share with you. Let's give it up for Ben Churchill.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everybody. I am happy to be here. I am happy and proud as well to be the warm-up act for these 3 outstanding district leaders. I will do my best to kick this off in the right way. So, that's me. I am proud to be the superintendent in Carlsbad Unified School District. I'm also very proud of our students. Last year, 98% of our seniors graduated on time, and 83% of those students were eligible for UC and CSU system admission. So we're very proud of that. That translated into about 81% of our graduates last year going on to college, and we look at 4-year universities, 2-year universities, 2-year community colleges, trade school, certificate programs, et cetera. So 81%, feel very proud about that, that made that choice. We're also proud of the 2% that chose to serve in the military, and we're very thankful for their service. That left then 17% of our students who made a choice to go directly into the world of work upon high school graduation. And as Dr. Gothel talked about earlier this morning, our goal is to make sure that 100% of our kids can make a choice whether or not to go to college or to the military or into the world of work. Because of our partnership, the outstanding people, Dr. Gothel also mentioned the San Diego Workforce Partnership. We know what the priority sector industries are here in San Diego County. We know where the job opportunities and needs are. And so as we thought about this presentation this morning, the key question for me is, how do we ensure that every single graduate and especially our career-bound graduates, how do we ensure that they're connected to a high-need and potentially high-wage career option after high school? So that's the goal. Now we have outstanding career pathways in Carlsbad Unified, but we're not yet at a point where we can guarantee that every single student is connected to college, the military, or career. So how do we get after solving this? There's lots of great solutions that are already in existence. If you think about job shadowing, for example, this is a really good idea. It's often, however, done in isolation. You're also familiar with internships, right? Another high leverage, high promise activity, as long as the student who's involved in an internship is doing something that's connected to their passion and what they want to do later in life. We all also know about the positive impacts of mentors that have had on all of our lives and can have on our students' lives. So today, I am proposing a new, admittedly conceptual, soup-to-nuts solution for meeting the needs of our career-bound high school students, and we are calling it, tentatively, the Mentor-Intern Shadowship. Mentor-Intern Shadowship, trademark pending. So the Mentor-Intern Shadowship would be an opportunity for career-bound high school seniors to learn about the high-priority sector jobs in our area and to connect them to possible jobs after graduation. You've heard about stackable credentials. Think about this as stackable experiences, right? We imagine interested students would elect to take a year-long course their senior year. And in that course, they would learn about their passions and their interests, and then they'd learn about the priority sector jobs in our region. The goal would be to connect every single participant with an industry mentor that can help guide them along their path of career exploration their senior year. And ideally, every single one of these students would find an internship by the end of the year, paid or most likely unpaid. But the best thing is, if we could work with industry to have some of those internships turn into jobs after graduation, that would be outstanding. So that would be the capstone experience, an internship that turns into a job. The benefit to students is that they could be guided on their path senior year as they explore careers. The benefit to employers and industry partners is that you have access to a group of motivated students, and you get to pre-vet some of these kids as they think about what they want to do after high school. So equal parts job shadowing, mentoring, and internships, that is the idea of the Mentor-Intern Shadowship. So, investors, we need an initial investment of $20,000 to make this happen. That would help to pay 1/5 of a teacher's assignment to coordinate the program. More importantly, however, we need the commitment of industry partners. We need folks who can be guest speakers, folks who can do job shadowing, right? Think about a reverse career fair, for example. Usually we bring career professionals into a high school and talk to kids. We want to send our kids out into workplaces to learn in a job shadow experience. We'd love for folks to be mentors and commit time over the course of a year. We'd love for folks to provide internships. And ultimately, the dream state would be to have some of those turn into jobs afterwards. So I'm excited about this. I want to make sure I hit all my points before my time is up. What I think is great about this opportunity is that it would help us to say confidently and proudly that 100% of our graduates are connected to college or to military service or to a job after high school graduation, and that would be great success. So I hope you're excited about this too, and that you agree with me that with the Mentor-Intern Shadowship, our students can't miss. Thank you.
A round of applause for Ben. So, Ben, hey, don't go too far. Don't go too far. I know this guy named Drew Schlossberg, and he's going to commit the first $500 for your $20K. All we need is 39 more, and then we're all and then we're all set over here. So that might be a little bit of an encouragement, on this. Charles, I'm going to embarrass you again. It's something that aligns beautifully what you do at Cloudcast Media. If you could stand up, okay, use your big New York voice, and talk about your curiosity ships that you do.
All right. All right. good to go first. Awesome. Awesome. Love it. Thank you. Outstanding.
All right, got 19,000 more to go. All right, but so send in your questions. Randy, do we have any?
There are some for the panel right now, so I'm going to save those for the Q&A afterwards.
Okay, sounds great. And another round of applause for Ben Churchill.
Thank you.
You can sit in one of the chairs there if you want, Ben.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. So our next superintendent of Soup Tank is Holly Mcclure. She is the superintendent of Del Mar Union School District, more than 3 decades of education experience. She served as a district office administrator. I know she is just so well thought of. She's very cool and fun. I got to tell you, she won first prize in the Classroom of the Future Foundation's first ever red carpet walk at one of our events. You remember that, Holly, right? That's good. We need to have that on the screen one of these days on this aspect of it. And certainly has won some great awards from Classroom of the Future Foundation. Let's give it up for Holly Mcclure.
Thank you. Tough act to follow, Ben, but I am thrilled to be here today to talk to you about my district experiences that we've been on and where we are right now with our journey in and ending up here at Soup Tank. So Del Mar Union School District actually is a district of about 4,000 students. We have preschool through grade 6 we have 9 schools, and what people don't know as much about is the makeup of our district. We are very culturally diverse, 41 languages at this point on this given day. And we do serve cities in the cities of San Diego and Del Mar. All of our 9 schools actually happen to be in the city of San Diego. People don't realize that as well either. And the one thing I do want to talk about is our District Design 2022 before I go further with Soup Tank. This is our strategic plan that we actually began formally in 2017. It's now the year 2022, so you can imagine what stage we're at right now. And before 2017 ever even hit and it became an articulated plan, we had a lot of conversations about systems and structures and beliefs in our district. And what we really realized at that time was we always took really good care of kids and loved kids. But we were still really focused on, even though we talked about students and we wanted to be student focused, you know what most of our decisions were all about? What made the adults comfortable. And it came down to what we were bringing to the table and what our thinking was around it. So we really had to turn the tables around and start thinking about agency and in a way that was very different. What systems and structures and beliefs did we have in place for decades that were impacting the decisions and the planning that we were going to put forth in District Design 2022? And what we landed on was we went into classrooms, we actually shadowed kids, we spent days with kids, and it was really, really enlightening. We landed on a plan that really embraced radical change. And we talked a lot about the word radical because it is controversial, just that word. And we said, you know what? It is about radical because if we're going to make schools meaningful and make schools what they need to be for the future kids and for today's kids, they need to look different than what they are right now. The classrooms are not in the classroom solely like we've seen them. It's way beyond. And we started to embrace that, and you know, I will tell you, our classrooms look radically different. Our culture is radically different, and we embrace change. And I will also tell you that in the pandemic, this absolutely rocked us because all of that control and lack of agency and lack of connectivity was completely contrary to what we knew kids needed. And what we know about Generation Alpha, which I'll talk to you about a little bit more today. So it really is about our District Design 2022, and this fits in beautifully today. So our question and our ideas around today is how do we bring the skills that matter most to life for our students so that they gain understanding of how those skills play out in the real world? And we're going to focus on one part of industry. It is the food industry, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that right now. But in our District Design 2022, we actually have 3 levers. The first is a strong instructional core and high high quality instruction. The second is the skills that matter most, and the third is environment. All three of those are critically important. We're designing 2 new schools that look very different. They have interconnected class, they don't even have classrooms. We don't know what we're going to call them yet. And kids are weaving in and out, and they're not only going to have one teacher, and we no longer have an MUR or a multi-purpose room. We actually have an innovation hub that's going to be alive with children all day long. So these transformations, we don't have desks and chairs in our classrooms. Very, very different. I'm not saying kids don't have access to a desk if they need it, but they look very different, and how a school looks is very different. So when we talk about, I pulled some of these skills that matter most from actually lever number 2 that contribute to, if we have this partnership going on with our industry, what kinds of skills are we talking about? So you'll see some of these skills: leadership, management, employability, economics, imagination, creativity come alive in what I'm going to talk about next. So the ask is kids beyond the kitchen. We know it sounds great to have kids in a kitchen actually cooking and stirring up a recipe, and that's not what we're talking about. We actually want to partner with the local industry to have kids see what goes into actually running a business, having an idea, being an entrepreneur, and being able to follow through on a business model. And there are so many things involved in what we think is very applicable at the elementary level, which is a restaurant. Kids can relate to that. We have access to it. It's in our community. And kids have great ideas they can give back to a community and give back to a restaurant. So our ask, if we had $15,000, we want to partner with an owner or CEO or manager of a restaurant, corporation, restaurant chain, restaurant, to work together in the development of a template that would show the curriculum and the string of activities that we would do with a group of 5th graders. So in order to have have our children experience problem seeking and then solving of those problems. So if we had $15,000, you can see what we would spend it on up here. We would want support for our teachers to develop curriculum and programming in cooperation with the actual restaurant staff. We would want compensation for the actual business employees, because if they're working with us, they need to be compensated. We know that we need access to their actual staff at the restaurant. We want students and staff transportation to and from the restaurant. We would love our children to be involved in the marketing, because we know that in the development of a business model, it's all about the development of the model, the actual what goes into employability, how do you interview, how do you hire, how do you actually conduct your business, what are profit margins, and actually how do you market all of these good ideas. And obviously materials and supplies. So the ask number 2 is what would we be doing? Staff and students would meet with various business staff to learn all about the aspects of the various parts of running a restaurant. And we would want to schedule time for the staff to be with our kids in the schools, as well as for our students to be in the actual restaurant setting. So who are these kids? Generation Alpha. We understand how they're global, they're socially connected, they need things to be relevant. They're very much interested in the overall mental health. They are very connected. Even though they're very social in the digital world, they also need to be connected with one another. So this offers a chance for these kids to experience helping to solve a problem that they see. So what is our current reality? Kids are seeing that, you know what, they're asking, why aren't there fun restaurants in our area that have good food, that are family oriented, and that's something that we like as kids and that our parents like? So parents are asking, why are the restaurants closing? Why don't these kinds of restaurants exist, and why does it cost so much to grab dinner at any night of the week? So we believe that not only can our kids learn from the restaurant industry can learn from our kids. A great thing about kids is they're not stifled by thoughts about what they can't do. They think about it from an angle of what can be possible. So we think their ideas are great. We think the desired reality that's more student-centered could actually become real reality. Our kids have ideas that could help market these restaurants, and I think could be a real benefit not only to our kids, but to the entire community and hopefully to the business model that a restaurant would have in place. So Kids Beyond the Kitchen, again, isn't about cooking. That's part of it, but it's about all of the industry that's involved, all of the occupations that are involved in the restaurant industry, and all of those skills that matter most that our kids would have the chance to experience in real time, in a real world setting, working with a partner in the restaurant industry. So again, our ask, we'd love to have some sponsorship. We'd love any connections to anybody in the restaurant industry, and we think this would be a wonderful opportunity for our kids. Thank you.
Nicely done. So Randy, are we going to get those questions at the panel at the end as well?
Let me see if there's one specifically from Randy.
Well, I'm going to make a comment over here. I'll make a comment on this one over here. Holly, Tom, Davis, and I will be the first ones to be food tasters, okay? So happy to be a food taster over here on that aspect. Do we have a question, or? Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's now meet our third superintendent. Carl Miller is passionate about schools being a place where all students feel safe and valued. And if you were to sit there and have one word that's connected with Carl, that is value. I want my students valued. I want my teachers valued. I want parents valued. And it is so critical. Carl is not only the superintendent of the Coronado Unified School District, has been an educator in California since 1997. And that is near and dear to the Classroom of the Future Foundation's heart, because that's when we were founded, in 1997. Let's give him also a round of applause. He is the 2022 Classroom of the Future Foundation Innovative Superintendent of the Year. Carl, it's all yours.
This photo is actually from 1997. Clearly don't look like that anymore. Speaking of 1997, and really, I think as educators, we all have to have a why. And to witness that, and I appreciate the efforts of National University. I got my special education credential added on here at National. But in 1997, I was actually studying for the LSAT to go to law school. And I took a job as an instructional assistant at a charter school supporting at-risk students. And my teacher that I was working under, the passion and the care that she had for her students, the connection that she had with her students, was an inspiration and one of the reasons why I got into public education and decided not to get into law. And after 20 years, I bumped into her this morning, Jeanette Perez. Wow. Thank you, Jeanette. So a brief rundown of Coronado Unified School District. We have 3,000 students. We are a TK through 12. We have a preschool program, 4 schools, 2 elementary, 1 middle, 1 high. I want to focus on some demographic information that many within our community may not know. 38% of our students are military connected. We are one stop of many in their journey through public education. The mobility rate is high. 15% of our students are inter-district transfers. They come to Coronado Unified for our award-winning Coronado School of the Arts or some of our other specialized programs, or their parents serve in the Navy, and we have a special compact with neighboring districts that if mom or dad work on base, their children can attend our schools. 97% graduation rate, similar to what Ben shared, 78% college, 22% other. Understanding our mobility rate, we had to establish a foundation of culture in our district. And we came up with 5 years ago, every child every day deserves a connection, a challenge, and a champion. A connection to our school, what gets them out of bed in the morning. A challenge, whether that's academic, socially emotional, a project that they're working on, but then a champion, a peer group, a coach, a teacher. Someone that believes in them, that they feel, if I'm having a rough day, if I need guidance, if I need wisdom beyond mom and dad, that there's an adult in my care who cares about me. Who is my champion at school? We ask students frequently, who's your champion? As we all are keenly aware, mental health has become ubiquitous with the work we do as public educators. 1 in 4 adults have some form of mental illness, 1 in 5 youth, and the claims are the pandemic will just increase those numbers. Many are wondering, how are we going to connect the need for public schools to take a more proactive approach with mental health supports and college and career readiness and career technical education? I believe strongly that what our students need in their back pocket to be competitive for the jobs that we don't know even exist yet, they need to have some of those soft skills, the people skills that many of our speakers this morning have addressed. Mental health awareness is essential for the well-being of our students while they're our students, but also for the health of our communities. Teen mental health crisis, as stated. However, there's also mounting evidence that mental health awareness benefits the workplace. For those that have mental health literacy and can look past the stigma of mental health and engage in conversations with compassion and with empathy to identify and support colleagues, students, family members, those in the community, they are going to have an advantage over those that do not. It's better for our world, it's better for your business, and it's better for society. 2019 national poll from the APA states the stigma associated with mental health is a major challenge in the workplace. Forbes magazine said including mental health in your diversity and inclusions strategy is essential. How can we prioritize mental health literacy in our schools to meet the immediate needs of our students while building their capacity for future gainful employment? There is a program called Mental Health First Aid. It's a certificate program. It's 8 hours. Similar to CPR certification, you get a card, you get certified as a mental health first aid practitioner. Identify, understand, and respond. Our ask. We're asking for $20,000 to facilitate mental health first aid training for all of our high school students in order to graduate citizens who are certified to support all those with whom they encounter. We believe an immediate impact on our school community and those transferable skills that will benefit them when they enter the workplace, when they go to a 2 or a 4-year university. In doing so, we'll foster that community of care and compassion while providing essential skills for our students, our communities, and our business leaders benefit. In addition to financial backing to get this program up and running, to certify staff on our campus to become trainers of this certificate program, we're also requesting partnerships with our local businesses to engage in presentations, trainings, and experiences between your staff and our students. These will be mutually beneficial and designed to build the capacity, agency, and soft skills of our students while promoting awareness and decreasing the stigma of mental health in your workspaces. They say in the Fortune 500 companies, the top 2 skills that they're looking for: communication and the soft skills to engage with colleagues, to think creatively, to consider and appreciate opposing perspectives, to be aware, and to support. Improving mental health awareness can help employees better understand the gravity of these illnesses, which will lead to a workplace with more kind and empathic individuals. We believe with your support, we will graduate 275 students a year that are prepared to champion themselves, champion their neighbors, their family members, their friends, but also champion their colleagues in your workspaces. Public education does not just inform the public. Public education forms the public. We need more people who understand and can respond and refer to provide the supports critical to move beyond what we're all struggling with right now. Thank you for your time.
Nicely done, Carl. And I know we have a question for you. We'll probably take care of that during the panel. And last but absolutely not least, our next superintendent, Dr. Liangela Brady, well known for engaging and motivating others to shift practice to meet the needs of today's students. She is an author of 2 books, Transforming Ice Age Schools, Practical Guide for School Leaders, and Test Less, yay, Assess More, aka Guide to Formative Assessment. She was the 2021 Innovative Superintendent of the Year, and also high on her list of accomplishments was captain of the University of Connecticut cheer team for 5 years. I had to say that. You know I was going to say that. Everybody, Dr. Liangela Brady, give it up for her.
I actually went to college for 6 years, Drew. Only was on the team for 5. But I did get a master's degree. Anyway, I was hoping for the Shark Tank music because when Tim told me about this, I really thought I had to do it in Shark Tank fashion. So indulge me, and here goes. Hi, I'm Dr. Liangela Brady. Oh, I should start again, hold on. Okay, hold on. I know, this is like so nerve-wracking. As soon as I looked up, I should just look at my feet. Okay. It's because you stole a little bit of my thunder. All right, here I go. Hi, I'm Dr. Liangela Brady, and I am a co-author of Test Less, Assess More, and Transforming Ice Age Schools. I'm also the proud superintendent of the National School District. I grew up with a childhood dream of becoming a dentist. When I enrolled in college, my mother encouraged me to study accounting, like her. But in my senior year of college, I found myself on a different path. I found my dream job. I became a teacher. After college, I moved out to bright, sunny San Diego, California. I spent the first decade of my education career as a teacher and a vice principal in East County, San Diego. I spent the second decade of my career as a principal and an assistant superintendent of educational services in North County. Now, I am finishing my 6th year as superintendent in South County. I loved being a teacher, but I found that I could only impact the students that came through my classroom each year. As a superintendent, I can change the lives of over 4,500 students per year. Located in National City, just 5 miles south of downtown San Diego, National School District is the second oldest school district in San Diego County. This year, we are celebrating our sesquicentennial anniversary, 150 years of putting children first. We are an elementary school district serving students in preschool through 6th grade. And we have 10 schools and a preschool center in less than a 10 square mile radius. 95% of the students in National School District are Mexican, Latinx, or Filipino. And 88% of our students are unduplicated, low socioeconomic, English learners, foster youth, and homeless youth. Only 15% of the residents in National City have graduated with a bachelor's degree or higher. Most of our families are predominantly frontline service workers, most of the time working multiple jobs to make ends meet. It is for these families that I am seeking a $20,000 investment in my program, Bring a Teacher to Work Day. Have you ever asked a kindergartner what they want to be when they grow up? If you have, you've probably heard fireman, teacher, or social media influencer. But do our youngest youth know that they can also be a project manager, a genome specialist, or an aeronautical engineer? Do their teachers? They would if we had Bring a Teacher to Work Day. Most teachers grew up dreaming about becoming a teacher, and many of them have never worked outside of that profession. But we are asking our teachers to prepare our students for a world of work that they themselves have never yet experienced. Bring a Teacher to Work Day would change that. This adult-focused field trip would open up the doors of business for teachers to experience business on a first-hand basis. This coming Thursday is National Bring Your Child to Work Day. But what if you lived in National City and your parents worked in a restaurant as a maintenance worker, as a cashier? Would your teacher be able to fill in that opportunity gap? They would if we had Bring a Teacher to Work Day. A $20,000 investment would open up the doors for 100 teachers to get in on the ground floor of this business venture. The average cost of a substitute is about $200 a day. But I know most businesses in here probably don't have $20,000 to give to a program when 3 other sharks are here. But could you give half? Could you give a part? Could you open up the doors of your businesses and allow teachers to come in and see what you do? Could you allow teachers to experience the world and the environment that you work in every single day? Could you come to our schools and talk with our teachers? Could you share your expertise? Could you help teachers inform their lessons? So sharks, who's ready to invest time, money, or expertise in this business venture? Think about how many students you could reach and how many lives you could change. Our Airbus is taking off. Thank you.
Beautifully done, Liangela. So what we're going to do now is we're going to extend the session to 5 more minutes. So we're going to push everything back 5 minutes. The break will be from 10:50 to 11:05. The first session will be from 11:05 to 11:45 and so forth. We want to just give some opportunities to ask some questions of this esteemed panel over here. So again, we're going to add 5 minutes to the schedule and then give a couple minutes to talk about what is in store for you on these breakout sessions. Al, are you doing a breakout session? Yeah, that's right. Of course, Al's doing a breakout. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Very, very good. Randy, do we have any questions?
Yeah, this first one is for Ben Churchill. How might you ensure this is connected back to what's happening in the classroom, both academic and CTE?
Yeah, thank you. So, is this thing working? Yeah, there we go. So, right, this is a kernel of an idea, right? What we've been trying to do over many years, and I can see a couple of our outstanding staff members from Carlsbad, the award-winning Megan Arias, who's our secondary director, the award-winning, just about to win an award, Nicole Morse, who's a K-12 Pathways coordinator in our region. So we're trying to infuse employability skills across the board, whether you're in an AP literature course or whether you're taking introductory shop class, right? We're trying to be intentional about that. A course like the one that we described today would give us a specific touch point with kids who might not yet be sure what they're doing the day after graduation. And so that, I think, is the critical missing piece for us right now. We've got a really good safety net for almost all of our kids. I want to ensure that it's 100% of the kids, and that doesn't happen just your senior year. We start, we're a K-12 district. We start working on career exploration early, and then hopefully with something like this, we can catch everyone by the time they graduate.
Great, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Randy?
Holly. What are some of the tangible examples of giving young students agency on an ongoing basis?
So when we think about agency, we really are about what is it that they want to seek problems, things that are relevant to them, things that matter. So we really look at what is it that matters to the students and what are real problems in the world that they can help tackle at their level. And that's why even with this idea, we try to narrow it down to something that's doable. And they've worked with the Coastal Commission on erosion. They've done all sorts of different kinds of projects. And when kids actually own it, they are incredible thinkers. The other thing that we've really focused on is teaching kids to be thinkers. We really want, and we partner with Ron Richard out of Harvard and really invest in what does it mean to actually be a thinker and be a problem solver. So I think one of the most important parts of agency with kids is making it relevant to them and finding out their passion and how they can actually solve real world problems. And we see this restaurant issue as one. I didn't really do the shark thing, so. It is a problem.
This question is for anybody on the panel. We know schools are often underfunded. Are you sure you're asking for enough funding without taxing current staff?
Go ahead, Leangela.
Well, we kind of talked about what an appropriate ask would be with this crowd, but we are open for funding of all sizes. So anybody wants to talk to us about what type of funding is needed versus what you would like to partner with, I'm sure we can find a match.
Great. Carl, want to add to that?
You know, just to borrow the Shark Tank model, I think the difference here is there isn't a percentage that an investor would then stake ownership in any of these proposals, in any of these pitches. The beauty of this concept that Tim came up with was how can we scale all of these ideas, share them, and you know, the ones that are working spread throughout the county. But you're not investing in one of these ideas for 20% ownership. You're all in. We're all in. This is about improving our county, society, the world. So any investment is a demonstration of being all in, not 10% of our idea.
Very
Carl,
good.
since you have the mic, here's another question for you. Why isn't mental health and health in general more supported on school sites?
You know, I believe that it is, and I think it's reinforced. I think the conditions have changed. Right now, educators are hearing a lot about what didn't happen during the pandemic. Many aren't seeing the correlation between mental health and academic achievement of students, so we're really having to go back and kind of educate our community around Maslow comes before Bloom. But I think prioritizing and being intentional and purposeful with a certificate type program ensures that we're graduating students that have that on their resume, they have that in their back pocket, and they've been through and experienced the training and also interactions with peers and with adults using the skills that they've gleaned from the mental health first aid program.
This one's for Tim. This is about using Donors Choose to help with some of this funding. And perhaps Donor Choose can be leveraged for some of this funding, such as with Carl's. And SDG&E does double match for projects like this in disadvantaged communities. So have you looked at other alternatives as well?
Love that idea. We are, as I said earlier, this is really in the design stage. The actual soup tank, we are projecting to be in the fall. We have a superintendent reception where we bring superintendents together, and we were hoping it wouldn't be this dramatic, but we are hoping that we would get most of those 42 superintendents to come out and share an idea or two. And the winner of that is everyone, because other superintendents hear these good ideas. We're not competitive with each other. We love what's going on in other districts, and we often borrow our best ideas from our neighbors. I've borrowed more from these four than I could even tell you. And so this is about helping superintendents hear good ideas. It's about helping the county hear good ideas coming out of their schools. It's about helping the Classrooms of the Future Foundation hear those good ideas so that they can know which ones they can help incubate. And it's also about bringing in our community and our business community to find places where it's relevant to partner. I love the idea of Donors Choose, and so we may add that to the design. So thank you, whoever came up with that.
So Randy, what we're going to do is everybody continue to write your questions on that QR code. We'll make sure it gets to all the superintendents and to Al also if you have some other ones, and use that in the general sessions as well. Again, we're going to extend the this one 5 minutes, but I'd do a little housekeeping over here. Probably should have done this at the
Drew, real
beginning.
quick, regarding those questions about being innovative as Classroom of the Future, I just decided we're going to write a blog post about this next week. So send your questions in. We're going to share those questions with all the soups up here. We'll get those answers, and we'll put it up on a blog post next week for you.
Very good. When he says we, that means Randy, as everybody knows in that vein. So Randy, next slide over here. We got some cool events that are coming up. Let me switch back. We're gonna. Well, he is switching back over here. We have our 19th annual Innovation Education Awards that'll be on May 26th at SeaWorld. Many of you have been to this. Really got to give kudos to Jane for arranging this. It is going to be the same very cool open bar. It's going to be great food. It is going to be fun, sessions and exhibits, and of course, all of it to recognize those great work in the classrooms with those students and so forth. That is the 19th Annual Innovation Education Awards. Thanks to Tom Davis, who is sitting over here holding up that wall. We're going to have a Superintendent's Health and Wellness Retreat on June 23rd and 24th. It probably get some other folks involved in this. It'll be in Temecula. Also, thanks to Tom. Tom is a great part of the brains of CFF. In fact, he's a lot of the brains of CFF. He came up with the To the Mountaintop podcast, where we have been interviewing local sports heroes, such as Rolf Benerschka, Tony Gwynn Jr., and have them interviewed by somebody who is currently at a school where they went to. So we had a La Jolla High student interview Rolf Benerschka. We had someone from Poway introduce Tony Gwynn Jr. We've done 6 of them. We're going to do 6 more. And so you can go to the CFF website and find out information about that. And we're really geeked up about this one. It's Future Pathways Superintendents Unplugged. It's an opportunity for the soups to just relax, have some fun, talk about the cool things that are happening. So Liangela went up first, and so she was interviewed. That should be live. Charles will let us know when that is up and running. And on May 3rd, we got 4 great superintendents coming up. Moises Aguirre will be on the docket, Eduardo Reyes, Ben Churchill will be on that, and the inimitable Paul Gothel. And then we'll do this once a month, and we'll bring those out. But we think that is absolutely so critical. We got some great sessions that are coming up. You should have a program that was handed out to you. So wonderful breakouts. I really want to bring your attention to, they're all good, but Tom came up with a great idea called Rapid Fire. It's going to be in room 135, where people are going to make pitches. Got 8 people coming, 4 in each of the different sessions, and there'll be some raffle prizes in there. Stick your head in there and take a look at that. Let's give a huge round of applause to our superintendents. They just did a spectacular job. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. We'll start at 11:05. Thank you so much for coming. Enjoy the rest of the evening, or afternoon, I should say. And there's great lunch coming up as well, and door prizes. Thank you.
And if you look at the screens, you can kind of see the maps on where these rooms are located. It's kind of an L shape up there. And so we're at the bottom in 114, 116, and 118. And then around the corner, so away